All right, hello there. Welcome to the channel. My name is James, and here at 20th and 21st Movies, we are about all things cinema. All right, today I am excited to share my thoughts on a release from the Criterion Collection that came out last year. It is Spy number 1193, and this is as a result of the poll that I recently put on my community tab asking what title you would like me to review in the month of June. This is one of those back titles that came out last year that I never had a chance to review, and a title that I've seen before, but definitely wanted to have a chance to come on here and share thoughts on this amazing film from director Luis Valdez, starring Lou Diamond Phillips as Ritchie Valens. It is Spine 1193. It is La Bamba. La Bamba, the story of Ritchie Valens, who, of course, tragically died at the age of 17. This young musician who had a very short career. His career was cut short. Um, he died along with Buddy Holliday and another musician, and it was known as the day that music died is what was termed for the day that they passed away. But this is La Bamba. This is the 1987 film from director Luis Valdez, and I am going to just share my thoughts on this release from the Criterion Collection. I'm going to talk about the film. I'm going to talk about the video and audio quality, the special features, and whether or not this is a title that you ought to consider picking up. At the time this video is going up, we are only a few weeks away from what we believe will be a July Barnes & Noble 50% off Criterion Collection sale. So if history holds the form, in a few weeks, we'll be seeing that coming our way. And so the question that's on the table is, as you're putting together your shopping carts and figuring out your wish list and figuring out, hey, what titles do I want to consider adding? I'm going to pick up 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 titles, 2 titles, 1 title. Is this a title that I should consider including in that number? Let's talk about it on the other side of this. The 1987 film La Bamba, starring Lou Diamond Phillips as Ritchie Valens, from director Luis Valdez. Wonderful cast. You also have Isai Morales, you have Rosanna De Soto, and you have Elizabeth Pena and Danielle von Zernick. This is the pictures of the cast again on the front here. This is quite a film. It's a film that, of course, is famous by that famous song La Bamba, that is world famous, and certainly a song that he being Ritchie Valens, will be forever remembered for. And of course, a tragically cut short career. But let's go ahead and bring up some slides here. But before I do that, actually, let me read the back of the case here for the Criterion case. It says, La Bamba, the brief but incandescent life of rock and roll trailblazer Ritchie Valens, is immortalized in the enthralling biopic from another Mexican-American icon, Luis Valdez, the father of Chicano cinema. With sweetness and swagger, Lou Diamond Phillips embodies a 1950s California teenager who, forged by his fiercely supportive mother, played by Rosanna De Soto, and rebellious brother, Isai Morales, rises from his farm working roots to chart-topping fame in the early days of rock until one fateful night that haunts music history. Propelled by a hip-shaking soundtrack featuring Los Lobos and Carlos Santana, La Bamba captures the electric vitality of an artist who bridged cultures to create his own American dream. Of course, um, Ritchie Valens was killed in a plane crash then, and it's just so tragic. It's one of those things that is tragic for someone to lose their lives at such a young age. But of course, he's made an indelible mark on music history and just history in general at such a young age. But let me bring up some slides here to talk a little bit more about this film and the director and those who are involved. So this is the theatrical release here, or the theatrical cover here, or poster, showing Lou Diamond Phillips as the character Ritchie Valens. And of course, at the time that this came out, Lou Diamond Phillips is a Filipino background, and he played this this Hispanic character. So there was some controversy around, hey, why didn't they cast a person of Hispanic heritage into this role? But Lou Diamond Phillips injected so much life and so much genuineness and realness into this role and did such an amazing job that he eventually won over a lot of his detractors. And he just did an amazing job playing this young man. Of course, there's very little that's actually known about Ritchie Valens' life before he was tragically killed. There were some interviews that he did, but a lot of that has been lost. And so you really are piecing together, in this case, Luis Valdez had to piece together bits and pieces of information here to try to put some meat on the bones of the life of this young man and present it on screen in this film. And of course, Lou Diamond Phillips did his best to take those tidbits and put together a portrayal of this young man's life. This is director Luis Valdez here. And of course, Luis Valdez had some very fascinating connections to the labor movement champions Cesar Chavez and Dolores Huerta, who I personally recently learned more about in terms of the whole farm movement, the whole Delano grape strike in the around 1965. Of course, in 1965, Valdez founded the El Teatro Campesino in 1965, which is basically a theater, an organization that is about promoting Chicano cinema. So he is the founder of this organization. You see director um, Valdez with Cesar Chavez at the top here, and then with Dolores Huerta here down here, did a presentation with her. Of course, Dolores Huerta is still with us. Cesar Chavez passed away a number of years ago, but Dolores Huerta is still with us. But Luis Valdez was, around during this time of the Delano grape strike in 1965. This particular film deals with, of course, the background of farm workers, of which Ritchie Valens came up in. The Valenzuela family came up as farm workers. And so you get a little bit of a glimpse of what his young life might have been like. Of course, again, we don't know all the details. A lot of those details have been lost basically forever, but you sort of get a sense of what a young Ritchie Valens life might have been like by the time we encounter him in this particular movie. But yeah, I find this connection of this director to the labor movement very, very fascinating, and just adds a lot of texture given his background in driving Chicano cinema, and this being his most famous representation of that in La Bamba. Of course, you have Lou Diamond Phillips as Ritchie Valens, the young singer, and Esai Morales plays Bob Morales. This is his brother. And the dynamic between Ritchie Valens and his brother in this film, Bob Morales, is one of the driving forces of this film. It's such a fascinating connection that these brothers have, and their conflict and their butting heads at times, and is a big part of the narrative of this film. Huge part of the narrative of this film. Of course, you have Rosanna De Soto. She played Connie Valenzuela, the mother of Ritchie Valens and Bob Morales here. And then Elizabeth Pena. I absolutely love this actress. Of course, she's passed away at a relatively young age. I remember her playing in Down and Out in Beverly Hills with Richard Dreyfuss and Nick Nolte and Bette Midler in that film from 1986. And of course, she also played in this film the year later in 1987, La Bamba, with Lou Diamond Phillips and this amazing, amazing cast. And then, of course, you also have Lou Diamond Phillips as Ritchie Valens and Danielle von Zernick as Donna Ludwig in this film. So just an absolutely did I get that right? Yeah, Danielle von Zernick, the love interest, and of course you also get the whole issue of the race relations at that time and the discrimination. Of course, in this film, her father did not exactly approve of their union because of his Hispanic background. He did not approve of them coming together, and so you have that racial friction going on in this film. That is part of the narrative as well. And just in his young life, he encountered so many challenges and was able to succeed even in that short amount of time of his music career, which really lasted about 8 months or so. But yeah, those are some slides on the particular film. On this particular film that talks about the actors and the director. And I just found that history of the director very interesting and how that history influenced the making of this film. If you look on the inside, of course, this is the front here. Love this front cover. It's sort of also the same color scheme as exemplified on this screen here. And then, of course, you have the back. Really, really nice. Check out the inside. You see the brothers here. You see Ritchie Valens and Bob Morales, played by Lou Diamond Phillips and S.I. Morales here. Really, really cool. And you have this nice insert here. Richard Valenzuela and his flying guitar, Saturday, January 18th, 1958. So yeah, the American Legion Hall. So American Dreaming Chicano Style by Yolanda Machado is an excellent essay that you should consider going through. So good. It talks about that history. It talks about Ritchie Valens, his life. So good. You see the cast there. Of course, about the master, La Bamba is presented in its original aspect ratio of 1:85:1. It was restored in 4K by Sony Pictures Entertainment. Scanning was done in 4K on a Scanity film scanner at Colorworks in Culver City, California, from the 35 millimeter original camera negative. So this film looks very nice on this Blu-ray disc. It looks so nice, in fact, that I really wish that this was a title that Criterion went ahead and put out on 4K because it is absolutely beautiful on this Blu-ray. It's a beautiful picture, beautifully restored. It's clean. You have nice depth and clarity in the image. And to me, this is a title that, who knows, maybe at some point there will be a 4K release. There's a wonderful 4K restoration that could serve as the basis for that. And I think it'll just take this picture to the next level, especially with some nice HDR. I just wish that Criterion had done that for this particular release, because this is an absolutely beautifully restored 1987 film. And I think it would look fantastic on the 4K format. But as it stands on the Blu-ray, looks terrific. Of course, the audio, you're getting 5.1 surround DTS HD master audio. Of course, you're getting that wonderful music, including the title track, La Bamba, as well as some other really nice songs. He really had about 3 hits during his short career, and they're all beautifully portrayed on this soundtrack here, and it just comes across beautifully. This 5.1 master audio sounds terrific and does this music justice, as well as the dialogue and the other sounds in this story. So from a video and audio perspective, top notch presentation all the way around. As far as the special features, you do get some nice features on here, including some audio commentaries that feature Valdez, the director, actor Lou Diamond Phillips and S.I. Morales, and producers Stuart Benjamin, Taylor Hackford, and Danielle Valdez. You get a new interview with the director, Luis Valdez, and you get a conversation between Valdez and filmmaker Robert Rodriguez from El Rey Networks, the director's chair. You get a making of program that features the cast and crew, audition footage. So you do get some pretty nice features on here. And of course, that essay by critic Yolanda Machado is absolutely essential reading that I highly, highly recommend. So again, I cannot say enough great things about this release from the Criterion Collection. It is an absolutely fantastic film. This is my first time actually seeing La Bamba, based on this new Criterion release, and I'm glad that I've had a chance to actually sit down and watch it. It's a fascinating film, base that really brings to life this very unfortunate, tragic ending to what could have been an amazing career in life of this young man, but tragically cut short. But a great film from a fantastic director, beautifully acted by Lou Diamond Phillips and all of the characters here. It's a really nice film that I can definitely recommend based on the film. The presentation looks good on Blu-ray based on that 4K digital restoration, and it sounds great with that 5.1 audio. So The features, it's not an incredibly packed edition, but you do get the commentaries, you do get some interviews. And I think overall it really works very well as a package, especially with that essay from Yolanda Machado. So definitely comes recommended for what we hope to be a 50% off sale from Barnes and Noble of Criterion titles in a few weeks as of the time that this video goes up. But I'm going to refer back to my notes here. I have, of course, notes for these reviews and see if there's anything else I need to bring out. Yes, La Bamba. This, of course, this true story takes place in the 1950s. And that's one of the excellent parts of this film is that you do get some authentic sets that really makes you feel like you're in the 1950s. Of course, this is a film from 1987. So it's a period piece going back 30 years in the past from the time that this film came out. The soundtrack is fantastic. The costumes and everything that went into putting you into the world of 1950s is beautifully realized by Luis Valdez in this film. So it's a good experience from an entertainment standpoint, but also also an educational standpoint in terms of understanding the farm movement, understanding, what was going on with people during this time. And it's just absolutely, fascinating. Let's see what else here. Yeah, of course, Lou Diamond Phillips' breakout performance really captured the spirit and talent of Ritchie Valens and just made the character more relatable and inspirational. S.I. Morales played his half-brother Bob. He provides a compelling and intense counterbalance to Phillips' earnestness and showcase the complexities of familial relationships. So you do have that dynamic between, of course, the brothers. You also have the dynamic with his sister, who is played beautifully by Elizabeth Pena, and of course the mother played a fantastic role in this film as well, played again by Rosanna De Soto. So really good supporting characters, all supporting the great performance of Lou Diamond Phillips, and that's part of what makes this a fantastic film to check out. But yeah, La Bamba comes recommended for the upcoming sale. But let me know in the comment section below, what do you think about this film, La Bamba? What do you think about this director, Luis Valdez? What do you think about Lou Diamond Phillips? Of course, he would go on to play in films like Young Guns and other films as well. What are your favorite performances from Lou Diamond Phillips? What are your favorite performances or films from director Luis Valdez? And what are some of your favorite films that these other players have played in? Let me know that in the comment section below. Let me know what you think about La Bamba and all that good stuff. And I'll look forward to seeing you next time at the movies. As always, thank you for watching. Peace.